back to PSGL. George Morgan here and Jack Pinnett. All the lights are currently lit here on track. And it is go, go, go!
Contact between the Mercedes teammates.
Denoso with a crafty maneuver up the inside. Masterclass from the Chilean.
Crucial championship points on offer here.
Do not count out Danny Beresne.
Longe has done the job. This is for the win between these two.
Freddie Rasmussen wins the United States Grand Prix.
Alfie Butcher wins for the first time ever. Lucas Blakely takes the championship. It's Barry Foreman.
Jarno Opmeer is your champion.
Welcome back to PSF1. It is time for yet another race. It's round number 2. It is Miami. And, well, Jessica Bull was here in, well, Evan's seat last week. I'm here in his seat this week. And alongside me, the ever-consistent James Head. Someone's in the game chat and playing something down the microphone. And I am a bit scared. I have no idea. Whoever's got that on, you're getting muted. Thank you very much for scaring me so early on into the live stream. First and foremost, James, how are you?
I'm doing very, very well. That was Damien, by the way. That was now going to get the wrath of us on commentary, I'm absolutely sure. But I'm doing really, really well. Obviously, we had Britain last week. It is Miami this week. Miami really good in terms of overtaking, really good in terms of the action. I'm looking forward to this one. And, of course, Rens Thomason has won around here this track before as well, along with Matteo. So watch out for them too. They've already got form in PSGL.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's take a look at that all-important calendar because we are only 2 rounds in, but we got plenty more to go as we head through this season. Next up will be Austria, then we got a break, and Spain, Hungary, Japan, Jeddah, Mexico, Belgium, Monza, Qatar, and Brazil. Rounding out the season, obviously, round 1, we had Britain. What a track, what a race that was. And if we look at our results as well, Rens Thomason getting a win on the board. Great for his start of the season, followed by Matteo, and then there you have Danny Van Rooten there in 3rd. So a great start to this season. Had, well, all 20 drivers for the first round, and, well, 17 of those finished. So a great start to the season, and obviously the standings are pretty much as you saw them on the page before, but a great start for this season nonetheless. And what a circuit it is. Well, plenty of turns, 2 DRS zones to speak, 3 actually, I can't count, and, well, 19 corners, I can count that one. So it's going to be a great one. To see who's got the pace, who's hot, and who's not tonight. I think that's the important thing. James, you know this tier much better than I do. Who do you think's going to look and be on fine form tonight?
Honestly, in terms of how Britain panned out, Rens Thomason and Matteo was an absolute electric battle throughout the race, and I think it's going to be more of the same tonight. Rens, of course, winning in PSF3 in season 35, the last time we visited, of course, Miami, and Matteo won in PSF2 that season as well. So they have got form around this track. They are top 2 in the standings as well. Danny Van Rooten, of course, holding on to that 3rd position, so did very, very well to do that. He has joined a new team within that vanguard as well, so watch out for him potentially. But I'm immediately looking at Rens and Matteo, the top 2 in the standings. Expect them to be the first 2 home, but expect coming down to also be up there as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's the benefit of a new season. It does provide quite the shake-up in terms of the order as well. That's one of the things that I quite like to see. You know, this grid a lot different to maybe how it panned out, you know, towards the end of last season on season 36. But that's the surprise of a brand new game. It does provide brand new opportunities, and well, it's always great to have a brand new season getting underway properly. And well, round 2 is a real point where you can start to begin to draw some conclusions about who is looking better than others. And well, we'll be getting to find out, you know, kind of a bit more of that in only a couple of moments' time as we are waiting for drivers to get into the lobby. We're up to 9 drivers. We are supposed to have a full lobby tonight, which is exactly what you want so early on in the season. You want these drivers to be rocking in week out, you know, to give us a great time. And well, they're certainly going to be trying that tonight.
They definitely will be trying that today, and obviously, knowing that it is PSF1, I'm not surprised that they're running late, to be honest, because it is like 3 minutes to go until they're supposed to be getting going. It's normally tradition that we don't get going out on time, so hopefully everyone will be in due course. But honestly, I think tonight is going to be really good. Miami is one of those tracks where I think on this game, the F1 wildcards especially are going to be absolutely loved around that track. It's going to be difficult for us in the commentary box because we don't know who's running in what livery and everything else, and we don't know who's going to be whose teammate. So it is going to be very interesting in terms of us in the commentary box. But hopefully we can do as good a job as what we can do given our circumstances. Let's just put it that way. But I honestly think how the talent is in F1, it's one of the most open tiers I think I've ever seen. I've done this now for 4 seasons. This will be my 4th. And PSF1, I think, honestly, is really wide open this season. We saw Renz, Matteo, the similar likes coming towards the race 1. Danny Van Ruyten, Zols and Max von der Geest, all pretty much newcomers in terms of F1, so definitely coming alive towards that backstage of the race in Britain. Whether or not they can repeat that, though, in Miami remains to be seen. We have got 14 drivers, and I believe, in the lobby, so we are going to get going hopefully very soon indeed. Looking through, by the way, in YouTube comments, Byron, your sister is in the comment section, which I'm glad to report. Saying hello and good evening and all of that jazzy stuff. Jess is in doing her Formula Student stuff. She's at Silverstone, actually, the lucky so-and-so. So she's not with me in the comment box here tonight, but she is doing the Formula Student stuff. Hopefully she is settling in well, and I think that action starts tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. So go and check that out while we've got Jess here in the comment section. But also, watch out for George Ansell, who, speaking of which, at Silverstone, Williams Esports LAN event. He actually won around Britain in that Williams Esports LAN event. Did perform in Miami as well. Performed very well in Miami in that race as well. So George Ansell might just be one to watch out for as well. But coming back to your original point, Baron, I know I've waffled on quite a lot there. Yeah, this is a wide open tier, and I'm looking forward to the action getting going.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And as you mentioned and touched on there, F1 World Cars once again still a bit of doubt about the equal car setting. Is it equal? Is it not? I don't think anyone knows at this point. Surely, I mean, you toss a coin, you might be right, you might not. It's anything when it comes to EA nowadays. But you know, F1 World Car, you know, at least you guarantee everyone is on that equal setting. The only thing that's going to be different, that livery will confuse us quite a lot. But you know, hey. Oh well, the sacrifices we have to make to ensure the competition is as close as it can be, and trust me, it is never been closer than it is right now. These drivers so eager to get underway for this. I mean, we've probably got only a couple of minutes now. I'm actually getting 19 drivers in the lobby, so surely in a couple seconds we're getting this underway properly. But just as a reminder, where we are going racing tonight, it is the Miami circuit, one of the newest circuits on the Formula 1 calendar. 3 DRS zones around this circuit. Definitely going to be plenty of overtakes around here. 19 turns, a few of which you'll go flat out through, but they still count nonetheless. And well, it's hosted some brilliant races in real-life Formula 1 and in PSGL. I mean, look at the fact Lando Norris won here, got his very first race win around this circuit. And, well, maybe a driver tonight will be getting their first win of the season around here. And, well, we haven't got to wait long because all 20 drivers in the lobby, we're going to start to get the action on track in only a couple of moments' time.
Definitely so. And coming on to that, I'm absolutely sure of that on this stream. Coming to what we did in the past around here in Miami, only 2 races have ever been ran here in PSGL PSF1 history. Santari Martikana, the Williams Esports driver, took the victory from Rowan Bulwitt in second and Jensen Randall, oh how we missed Jensen on the PSF1 grid, in third. And Aurelian took the race win last time we came here. That was in season 35, my second season actually doing the top tier. Cameron Dowds was second that day, so has got good form around this track previously, and OP Tim finishing in third. So just to try and clarify on any of that, we've only had 2 races around here, Santari and Aurelian. 2 drivers not on the grid and PSF1 have taken the both race wins. But I believe we are going to get going very soon indeed. I've got now a countdown of 30 seconds, which is really, really good. Snipesy, by the way, saying he loves you, Byron. At least show a bit of love for me in the commentary box. Put it that way.
Well, I mean, it's going to be great. We got action coming left, right, and centre. But before we manage to get qualifying underway, we're only a couple of seconds away. But I do want to shout a massive thank you out to our amazing partners that are somewhere, if I can point right, down there. GT Omega and Sim Racing Centre. I've got one of their lovely chairs here. I've got, just over there, one of the wonderful gifts given to me by Sim Racing Centre as well, so we gotta give them a massive shout out. Without them, none of this would be possible. And well, as you'll see in a couple of moments time, we've got a few extra surprises tonight that maybe you weren't expecting, but qualifying is getting underway literally as we speak. Everyone is going to filter out of this pit lane probably very, very quickly, because this circuit quite quick, but you want to get out even quicker. And wow, it is looking a little bit on the overcast side. James, I wonder if we're going to see a bit of rain.
Well, potentially so. It is the Sunshine State, and it is the United States as well. Florida, of course, in Miami, and potentially so. I think we could see rain potentially within this session. Not sure what the telemetry is going to be showing. Judging by how everyone's rushing that pit lane, though, I have a feeling it's going to be a dry session. They want to try and get their first runs on the board. And speaking of first runs, Renz Thomason is going to be one of the first out on track, along with ET8 Leonardo, I think is the first out on track. Both very good races, of course, last week in Britain. Definitely tonight, and we have got now drive on track. It's either going to be one or two things. We're going to see either a little bit of rain in the early stage of the session, that's why everyone's rushing out, or it is just going to be dry within the session. I hope to God it is going to be dry in the session, because I'd love to see everyone flip by about 5/10 of a second.
Well, let's have a little look then. The weather forecast onto the screen now, saying it's overcast, 31 degrees Celsius at the moment, track temp of 47. It is absolutely roasting out of there, and it will get sunny in about 10 minutes time or so. And well, that's a nice little graphic there. It's almost like I spent 3 hours making that today, but it does give you a real good indication as to what those conditions are out right now. And well, it is definitely hot. It is going to be very grippy, and there is no threat of rain, much to the rejoice of this grid, no doubt about that one.
Definitely not. ET8 Leonardo, I think, is going to be the first to come across the line to start up on his run. The ET8 man, who's in an ET8 style livery, I've got to say, which is really nice, because it's actually really good for me to actually try and pick out who he is out on track. He is just now coming through the final corner through turns 18 and 19 and about to start his run, and the red and white liveried car running down in towards the right-hand of turn number 1. Very tricky. Get on the brakes through turn number 1. Now to the left-hand of turn number 2. Flick it at left, and then flick it at right, coming through the right-hand of turn number 3. Then through the right of 4. In towards this really tricky section. Drivers might lose the car coming through this part of the section, through turn 5, then through the right-hand of turn number 6 here, and then into the double left of turn 7, 8, and then on the way down back straight in towards turn at number 9. The first sector split is going to come up very soon indeed. Leonardo has a bit of a twitch there, coming through the left-hand of turn number 8 to 29 flat. Coming through that first sector split, and Leonardo now sets his sights all the way down the straight in towards turn number 11, which is going to be really, really keen for overtaking, really, really costly potentially for drivers as well. In terms of the overtaking, with 29 laps awaiting the drivers here, of course, in Miami. We now come through the right-hander of turns 12 and 13, and then into the very tricky chicane section, going onto the back streets. On the back street here of the Hard Rock Circuit, now coming to the left-hand of turn 16. Leonardo absolutely flying on this lap so far, minute 0.3. In that middle sector, really using up the battery. He's got about 30% left as he now enables DRS, running up the straight in towards turn number 18 and 19. The final 2 corners awaiting the Italian now, coming in towards the left-hander with turn 18. as he now comes through the left-hand return number 18, then through the left-hand return number 19. In fact, that's 18. That's the right-hand return number 19 on the run to line with Leonardo. 25.1 to start off the night. Not a bad lap at all.
No, Rens Thomason invalidating on his lap. He'll go into the pit lane, nearly spins as he does so. But I'm noticing Luca Rapassa is on a very good lap time. He obviously hasn't got a lap time on the board neither, as most of this field, Cameron Dow's there going into second place, though, is, Luca Rapassa comes through Sector 2 and towards the Sector 3. Sector 3 is not really much of anything. It's about 2 corners and a straight, really, but it is ever so crucial as the rest of this lap time, and Luca Rapassa, he allegedly has the fastest Sector 1 time. Will he have the fastest Sector 2? He does not, but that means absolutely nothing at the moment, because anything can happen for any one of these drivers at the moment, and well, he is not that far away from ending this lap time. As things stand, he's currently 14th. He's got a good first sector, got a decent second sector. Where will Luca Rapassa go? He will go up to second place. What a lap time for him. A great start for him in his session as Giovanna goes third.
Yeah, definitely. Giovanna, they go third. Luca Rapassa second. Rayen currently top of the session. 1/100th of a second. Currently separating Rayen and Luca Rapassa first and second. Then the ETA goes to Giovanna and Leonardo in third and fourth. Tom, who's looking for his third USA win. He has won both in the United States at COTA and also last season in Las Vegas. So Tom will be looking to try and complete the treble here tonight. He's there in 5th position. Dirk there in 6th. Guardadell, Damien, Cameron Dowds down in 9th. Danny Van Ruyten, new signing to Team Chazoo. He's there in P10 early on in the session. Belvelby's back off his lap. George Ansel going out for another run along with Rens Thomason right toward the back end of the field. Ian Van Unen, by the way, caught on ball on his run. He's just gone for full-on spin as I go on ball with him there. Coming to the left-hander at turn number 5. He really drifted that car coming through turn 7 the last time I saw with him. So Ian Van Unen definitely either on a default setup or he's just trying to play for the cameras. And I think possibly it's the latter rather than the former.
Wow, it's a shame that you caught that and not me, then, because it would have been fun to see. I'm noticing that Rens Thomason and George Ansel already back out on out laps after invalidating on their first runs there. But going to be really interesting, this qualifying session. All of these drivers going to be really fighting and reining the neck in because, well, they know they can use all of the tyres. They're not going to have to think about the race at all because we will have a mandatory restart after this. Again, that's due to a few bugs and concerns that the drivers and everyone generally has about the game. But Rens Thomason will begin his next flying lap. He invalidated his first, and now he gets to go for a second. And well, you can really attack your way around this track, no doubt about that one at all, as he'll head his way through turn number 4, through turn 5 now, about 145 miles an hour through there in racing speed, and qualifying just a couple miles an hour faster than that. Turn 8 now, as now we head down what is one of many DRS straights around here. That rear wing will open nice and wide as that DRS activation point will enable, and now Leonardo will move nicely out of the way there to ensure no problems, as now turn 11 comes up very quickly here on that straight for a while, and then the tricky turn 12. You can get loose on the rear if you get a bit too much on that throttle pedal. Now sector 3 really aggressive over the curbs is Rens Thomason, who now come through sector number 3 and towards the line. It's beautifully taken so far across this lap. It's not looking like all too shabby. The rear wing opens once more for him, as now he will go to turn 17, the last braking event of the circuit, and quite a heavy one at that, down to about 50 miles an hour. In fact, bang on 50 miles an hour if you're Rens Thomason. And now turn 18 and 19, barely corners at all, up to the line, top of the timesheet. What a lap from him.
Yeah, really good lap time from him. George Ansel, by the way, 2/10 down on that lap time currently from Rens Thomason, so he might be one to watch out for. Down in 19th position in the all-pink livery car, which I'm very, very happy that he's running that, because at least it stands out on our grid. Oh, as he really drifts the car, coming through turn 18. Now at turn 17 even, through the left-hander turn 18, he's back in the pit lane. Clearly not happy with that lap time at all. Was proven in that first and middle sector, respectively, for him. Other drivers starting up on a run. Alpha Gully, who produced a good showing last week, he's going on the run. He had a lag warning from last week as well in Britain. And Dowd's also on a run. Leonardo on a run. Rayan is just starting on a run as well. I'm just trying to see who's actually furthest on. right now. And I think it is ET8 Leonardo, but he's invalidated through the first sector. He was 1700 up before he did that, and he locks in for the left-hand return, number 11 there. But Renz Thomason out on top, Rayen in second, Luca Rapatra in third. 9 minutes gone in this session, 9 minutes to go, Byron.
Yeah, absolutely. Plenty of time for things to change in this session. And, well, going to be really interesting to see what these drivers are able to spring up across the rest of this qualifying session, as I'm keeping an eye to see who's improving. And Ryder Hall is improving a fair chunk on this lap time that he's on. He's had a very good sector 1 time, currently in 8th position, improved there by about just over a tenth of a second. So a good start to his qualifying session in another all-pink livery car. You're not going to miss these cars at all with their neon fluorescent colours. And well, as he'll come through sector number 2. Has he invalidated? No, he hasn't. But so easy to invalidate around a corner like that. A purple sector 1, a green sector 2, but down by about 0.2 of a second through that second sector. It is not the best second sector for Ryder Hall, but as they'll come towards the end of this lap, I'm also keeping an eye on Rayan, who's on a massive lap there, goes top of the timesheet and demolishes the benchmark set by the rest of this field. And wow, what a lap time from him. Ryder Hall came into the pit lane there, did not improve by the margins that he maybe wanted to, and now Luca Rapassa is 2 tenths up, which is exactly what you want, and he's now going to come across the line, and hopefully he's going to try and displace Renz Thomason and Rayan.
And Rayen actually lost time in that final sector, so Luca Rapatra, if he can really nail this final couple of corners, through 17 is where he actually lost the time, was Rayen. Luca Rapatra's much cleaner through there. He's gaining time all the way to the line here. He's going to be very close to Rayen's time, and in the end of 24.8 puts him second. Really, really good lap time there. Found time in that final sector. Gabana won a run as well. He's a 10.5 up through the first sector, running down in towards turn 11, so really coming alive. Currently in this session with still, 7.5 minutes to go. Rayen out on top, Luca Rapatra second, Renz Thomason in third. Matteo there's the Italian stallion going into fourth position for the 25 flat, 4/10 improvement on his run. Also on runs at the minute, I think Dirk is on a run, he's 400 stand, but I think he's backed off his lap. Max on the Geese is back of his. I think there's not many drivers out there currently, apart from Gavano, who is 3/10 up and quicker than Rayen in that middle sector. So he's looking really strong. Is the man in 5th position right now. Gavano, as he's now going to try and give and take. Running down toward the left-hand return 17. Car gets out of the way to the left-hand side as we now embark through the final couple of corners. To the left-hand return 17 in the shadows of the Hard Rock Stadium. Gavano now comes through turn 18. On the run through turn 19. On the run to the line. Does he defeat Rayen? No, but he does go ahead of Luca Rapatra. Really close lap times being set. Rayen out on top, 400th of a second clear from Gavano, but again Gavano lost that time in the final sector, so I wonder, all of that run down the straight, all of that ERS usage down the straight means that drivers don't necessarily have enough battery to use up at the end of their lap. I wonder if that's why drivers are losing time in the final sector.
Absolutely, that is definitely the case. I mean, just the battery usage, so hard to manage, especially on this new game. You're gaining a lot quicker, but you lose it a lot quicker too. So you've got to be really careful with how you utilize your battery deployment across the lap. But you've got to remember, these drivers are not necessarily going out to use every little bit of their pace at the moment. 6 minutes left on the clock as things stand, and well, that gloomy skies are clearing up just a little bit here, as well, currently definitely no threat of rain at all across the rest of this session, and well, that is exactly what you want to see nonetheless. And well, keeping an eye on the man that's currently last of all on this grid, because, well, if you want to make a surprise and really show that you've got something, going last to first is definitely the way to do it, but not exactly setting the timing sheets alight, but not a bad lap time from George Ansel, who currently hasn't got a lap time. Is 20th at the moment, only goes 19th there, but plenty of time for things to change in this qualifying session, as we've got a few drivers out onto the circuit. The final laps can't be getting underway this soon, surely.
Possibly not. Top Team Motorsport, by the way, representing one of their drivers, I think it's Ian Van Unen, if I'm not mistaken. As we can see, Ian has been out all day, hasn't touched the game. He's a liability. That is terrible. Coming from TTM in the comment section there, that is absolutely terrible. 29.7 is it's not a great lap. To be honest, I'd be probably quicker than that. Byron will probably be quicker than that right now. He won, but he has got a very good lap time in him. And judging by how we saw his rear end, or how I saw his rear end at least, that car is not set up at all for Miami. So I'm not sure if he's potentially got either a problem with his setup, a problem potentially if he's running default. He is down in 20th position. He's got a baptism of fire awaiting him for the final 4 minutes of the session. We'll have to wait and see how he gets on within that session. Jordan asking also when is PCF1? I don't know when PCF1 is. I think it's been delayed once again. Social media probably the best place to check, if I'm not mistaken, for also PSF1 content, but also PCF1 content on there. I think, as I say, it's been delayed. I'm sure Byron will back me up on that, but we have got Byron drivers, I believe, on a lap, including NLL Ryan and Alpha Gully.
Indeed, yes. Really interesting to see these drivers because, well, Ryan, into the pit lane. Alpha Gully is improving on his lap time. Not by the hugest of margins. It's not going to exactly take him too far up the order. It was looking like 1.5 tenths, which could take him up to about 10ths. So he's on the bubble of the top 10 as things stand on this lap. But as he goes through sector 2, 2.5 tenths improvement now. So this is looking set to be quite a good lap time. Could get him just into the 124s possibly. But interesting to see that quite a few drivers onto the pit lane. Alpha Gully been towards the bottom of the session since the start of it, but he could be about to shock the world here if he comes around this final bend and takes himself up towards the top half of this timesheet. He does come across the line. He goes 7th. Not a bad lap time from him at all. And now next across the line will be the man in 15th, TF10, Bell. I'm not fully sure how to pronounce it, but we'll go with that for the time being until I'm corrected otherwise. But coming towards the final couple of bends here for the TF10, and well, now up towards the line and into the pit lane. Not going to set that lap time, and no surprise because the clock is getting very low, so you don't want to set a lap time if you're not improving by huge amounts, because get the freshest tyres, get the best of the track, get back out there, get that final run done. And that is exactly what most of the field are doing, because everyone is coming out the pit lane.
Everybody is indeed coming out the pit lane. Drivers can get 4 runs, by the way, on their times around here in Miami. Some have, most haven't. They've actually gone for 3 sets of tyres. Remember, of course, we are getting that restart, even that mandatory restart that we were promised at the end of this session, going, of course, into the race, which means A, we get to waffle on for quite a long time, and B, the drivers can also mentally prepare themselves, which I think is really good. Zozo, by the way, who looks like he's in a McLaren. He's not meant to be in the McLaren. He's on the run toward the line in the McLaren livery, of course, for F1 24, on the run there down and towards turn 1. He's next up to start start on a lap. A really, really good run that he had in Britain, of course, finishing in 4th position last week. So he's really got to find something here in qualifying. Looks like Flopman has retired. He hasn't got enough time actually to come back into the pit lane and go back out again. But Zozo is coming to the left-hander turn number 5, really getting bottomed out on the curb through 6, and now in toward the left-hander now, turn at number 7. We'll see what Zozo's first sector is like. It's not been the greatest first sector at all from Zozo, and I remain to be corrected because it's a 29 flat. He is up there in the first sector, but he's got to find a big improvement in the middle and the final.
Well, he's not a bad lap time at all if that is a 29 flat, because the best sector 1 time is a 28.9. 941, so very good lap time there from Zozo in sector number 1. Time to find, though, if he wants to take himself right to the top, but the rear end is getting super squirrely on that McLaren livery, not quite McLaren car, and as he goes through the, well, very tricky section of turn 14 and 15, very nicely held and still improving by a decent chunk. He could get himself into the 1:24s and could very easily do so in the next couple of seconds. He's only got about 10 seconds left of this lap time. It comes by so quickly, and when he comes across the line in just a couple of moments time, will he be happy or will he be disappointed? Wow, Zozo up to the line in the McLaren car. He goes 5th. Nice. What a lap time for him. That's a great start for him in his qualifying session. Leonardo through sector 1 improving sminily, but Luca Rapassa is also looking likely to improve, but Rayan as well will be trying to set himself an improvement as well. Luca Rapassa, Leonardo, though, he's probably the man to watch at the moment because he is improving. Not many drivers improving right at the end of this session, though.
Rens Thomason as well is coming up toward the line. He's in toward the left-handed turn of 17. He's 2 tenths up in that middle sector. So if you're looking to try and get a really good lap time on the ball, Leonardo in front of him though. Sorry, in behind him even. Danny Van Oyten third, Luke Rapata there in third as well now. Rens Thomason though on the run to the line goes fourth in the end. 24.8, so did improve, but again, found that time in that final sector. Gavano has invalidated. Rayen is currently not improving because he's invalidated and spun coming through the chicane as well. So we're looking at potentially the likes of Shazoo Tom, the likes of Cameron Dowd, but he's on the 11th. Mateo there only 9th. Dirk's got no front wing. Rodadell's 3 tenths up, and he's actually purple, I think, in that middle sector. So watch out for the ET8 man. Former NLR driver, of course, recently joining ET8 once again. Rodadell now into the left-hander at turn number 17. Now passing the Hard Rock Stadium, really flicking that car nicely out. Through the left-hander turn 18, through the right-hander turn number 19. What's this lap from Rodadell? Does he go quicker? No, he goes 8th position in the end, 25 flat. Good lap time from him. Tom not on a run. Dirk not on a run, as I mentioned. Belby not on a run. I think, Byron, that is the end of qualifying, and a very lackluster end to that qualifying session. It is Rayen out on top, 24.7. Gavano in second, 24.826, but set the lap time before Leonardo. Leonardo on the same lap time there in third, 24.826. Really, really strong lap times, and everyone settled by about 6/10 of a second, which is really nice to see.
Yeah, what a start to, well, this race weekend. We are going to have that mandatory restart. I wonder if they'll just set the weather or if they'll keep it on dynamic. I hope they do just keep it on dynamic because, hey, maybe that'll throw up a few more surprises of action. But that is qualifying concluded, and it is Rayan on top, as you mentioned, but followed by Giovanna and Leonardo. But what a qualifying session that was. You don't necessarily need a blockbuster ending. Sometimes the action writes itself, and when it's early days of the season, anything is a blockbuster for these drivers. But yeah, Rayan, P1 in qualifying. Will it be P1 in the race though? That is the real question.
That is indeed the real question. Yeah, Rayan out on top from Gavano in second. Same lap time set by Gavano and Leonardo is absolutely incredible. 500ths of a second covering the top 5, by the way. Absolutely insane. Luke Rapata fourth, Rens Thomason there in 5th. Then Danny Van Rooyen in 6th, of course, on the podium last week. Zozo, Rodadell, Tom and Mateo ran off the top 10. Disappointing for Mateo, I'll be honest. Alpha Gully in 11th. Cameron Dowd's disappointing in 12th. Dirk, Max von der Geest, Flop and Ryan, Damien Curiel, then Belby, George Ansel, and Ian Van Unen, who did get lap time in, by the way, right down at the bottom end of the field, down in P20. But because we're going to go for an intermission break, I think, Byron, we can have a word from our sponsors.
Yes, absolutely. Let's do that quickly. It gives me an excuse to run downstairs and grab a drink. So, much needed. But we'll be back in a couple of moments' time. We'll debrief all of that qualifying action and build up to what is going to be an exciting race. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a couple of moments' time. Well, welcome back. Thank you for watching and supporting our sponsors and partners. Well, we had a qualifying session just a couple of moments ago, and well, an interesting one. Maybe not the blockbuster we might have wanted, but still builds us up nicely for this race. A very close grid, as you've come to expect in PSGL, and well, going to be an interesting race. The weather obviously a bit up in the air. Who knows what it's going to be, but going to be a real interesting one, I think. James, let's get your thoughts on that qualifying session.
Yeah, really, really strong qualifying session, I think. I mean, considering the top 5 were separated by 500ths of a second at the end of that qualifying session, I think that was absolutely insane. Rayen, I think, shocking everyone by coming out on top. But again, it just comes to show qualifying is one thing, race is a completely different kettle of fish on this game cycle. And Rayen, really good in terms of time trial times, one of the top 20, I think, within PSF1. Gavano, Leonardo, second and third, they really, really showed some good pace there in that qualifying session. Luke Rapata being the interesting one, I think. Not normally up there, I've got to say, within the race, but in qualifying, absolutely electric. And ahead of Rens Thomason, of course, who won last week. And to put it into perspective, Rens Thomason, who won last week, starts 5th tonight. Danny Van Ruyten, who was 3rd, starts right behind him in 6th. And Cameron Dowds, the most disappointing, I think, out of the lot, down in P12. He finished what I think got robbed maybe of that podium from the incident with Danny Van Ruyten, which of course was not investigated in the end, was not reported in that end. But Cameron Dowds in P12, he's going to be absolutely livid, I think, with that. And of course, the man who finished in P2 last week as well, which for the life of me, I can't think of who it was. It was Matteo. He's there in P10. So Matteo down in P10, Danny Van Ruyten in P6, Renz in P5. Those were the top 3 from last week in a completely random order. But Ren's currently out on top there in 5th, but Rayen, shocking, I think, everyone in that qualifying session by going pole.
Yeah, absolutely. Quite a shock to the system, probably for quite a few of these drivers, as you're beginning to realise that maybe the pace you thought you had maybe wasn't necessarily the pace you've got in reality, because when the grid's so close, even the smallest of, margins that you might be down is, a bit too detrimental, maybe. But got a real interesting race coming up in the not so distant future. And well, I mean, just what a track we're at, the Miami circuit. I mean, when you think about the moments it's created in PSGL, but also real world racing, there was a bit of, not so many people liked the idea of racing here, but it's certainly warming itself up, quite figuratively and literally, in terms of the weather in there. Not expecting rain too much for this race because, well, it's Miami, it's hot, but it could spring up a surprise or two, not just in the weather, but in the action on track. And the ramifications for the championship might not seem too large now, but in the grand scheme of things, when drivers will be separated by points come the end, maybe 1 point separating a few people, you're going to need every point you can get, even if it's at a track that you might not like too much, like Miami.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Miami, I think, is going to be one of that brings the men against the boys, to be honest. It's going to be one of those tracks that separates them into 2 different groups. And this could be an early title decider. We could look at this come round 12 of the season, back in the final round, and think, yeah, this was a title decider. And you might not think that now, and we are going to look absolutely mad, potentially, for saying that on this stream. But it's only round 2, and drivers have got plenty ahead of them. But Miami is one of those tracks where it can throw a lot of curveballs. And whether or not that curveball comes in terms of rain, in terms of the overtaking, in terms of the standards that we have out on track, remains to be seen, though. But we are going back into the session. I believe what I have been told, at least within the Discord, if I'm not mistaken. I did see a bit of a conversation going on between a couple of the drivers. And yeah, I think it could be well and truly a dry race. I hope it is, because it was certainly dry at the start of the lobby that we had previously. But hopefully we get to see some really good racing. And dare I say it, could we see maybe 3 or 4 wide down the straight in a quadruple overtake? Just throwing it out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything could happen. And as you can see there, you can see myself and James Head on the side. And you can see the live feed. And, well, everyone's just getting themselves with the good connection to the lobby. Then they'll throw their setups on, sort their strategy out, maybe adjust their fuel, do whatever they feel they need to. The advantage that they've got in this sort of scenario, you can make setup tweaks. With a mandatory restart, these drivers may have realized maybe my setup wasn't optimal. Now they can change it properly, and you haven't got to worry too much because you've got a little bit of time before things get underway. It is well, it's looking bright, but it's also looking a little bit dark, I think, in terms of the start time of this race. But nonetheless, we're on for a good race.
we are absolutely on for a good race. And Joe alluding to the point that commentator name is on that graphic. Yes, I know. I mentioned it before the stream. And at least my Twitter's on there. At least my Twitter's on there. That's what I'll say. And I have absolutely no quarrels about it whatsoever. I can be known as commentator name for the rest of my life, which is always good. But we could go into Miami. The drivers are going to get set up very soon indeed. I'm not sure if we're going to get a time in terms of when they're starting. But Tom has mentioned in Discord, what is this tyre selection? So I have a feeling some drivers are not going to be too happy about what tyres they could be starting on. Remember, they used up the set of softs within that qualifying session. With it being a restarted mandatory lobby restart, they get new tyres. But tyres around this track is going to be something because they aggressively go off the cliff. Soft compounder tyres will probably go off 6 or 7 laps into their first stint. Medium compounder tyres will probably last around the halfway stage, and then hard will probably last towards the end. But I'm seeing Dirk mentioning Bahrain, and I'm not sure if we can confirm this with the weather forecast. Are we going to get rain in this race? Because Dirk has mentioned potentially the threat of rain.
But I haven't done any rain on this game. That could be a telling sign of what's due when these lights go out in the not so distant future. Still no rough time for when this race will be getting underway. So gonna be interesting because we don't know how things are fully gonna pan out when we do actually get underway in the not so distant future, but we're only a couple of moments away from that now, which I think is the most important thing. We want to see action. We want to see racing. When is it going to happen? Hopefully, we're not too far away from it. I'm getting a bit impatient here. I'm not one to get impatient, but whew, they're taking their time. Are they popped out for a drink or something? They've gone to Tesco. They need energy. I don't blame them.
We normally get Ryan a message in the Discord. He normally says what time we're starting. I haven't had anything around. We are going to start there because the 5 red lights are going to go out. Miami Grand Prix. Here we go. And it is lights down and where we go. And Ryan gets a very good start. Cavano alongside him gets a poor start. Leonardo is going to be swamping him down in towards turn 1. And Ryan will lead. Coming through turn 1. Leonardo is ahead of Cavano through turn 1 as well. Then Thomas and Luke Rapata in behind with Danny Van Ruyten. Zorza making up ground as well. After Gully making up good ground off the early stages. Mateo's lost a position. He's behind Ryanadal now. Damien Curiel has made a position, lost a position behind Ryan. He's losing more positions as well with Bell Belby further down the field. But Ryan leads the way in toward the end of the first second round. Thomason up the inside line of Gavano. Absolutely cold like from Ren Thomason. Current championship leader. Booney's into third as they embark on the straight for the first time.
Yes, a terrible start for Mateo and TF10 Dirk. Dirk has damage to his front wing as well, I've noticed there. Carbon fibre did fly at the start, so I did wonder if someone had lost some end plate, and yes, he definitely had, as there's an overtake there as Tom gets himself up into 4th place. There's a lot of scrapping here towards the back as Zorzo battles here. You look at down the inside, that's Danny Van Ruyten there. Oh my god, there's a massive little moment there between 3 drivers. I believe that's Giovanni, who's got damage to his front wing as well. There's a bit more collision sounds and carbon fibre towards the back as there's a few drivers inside of each other, interestingly enough. I didn't think that could happen, but the opening lap of this race, and there's a big gap between the top 5 and the rest because Danny Van Ruyten and all of this squabbling towards the back is not helping them as Luca Rapassa is in 6th place. He's really struggling here because, well, the drivers who came in to the race and, well, got damaged, they have really hurt the pace of everyone else.
They have indeed, yeah. Danny Van Ruyten and Gavano got caught on each other. That's why they're in the pit lane, and also Dirk in the pit lane, I think, with a separate incident coming out of turn 16, if I'm not mistaken. Flopman trying to make up good ground. Ian Van Unen making up good ground around the outside of Cameron's out at turn 5. You do not see an overtake around this part of the track, and the green car from all the way down to P20, starting off the grid, is now down in P11 because Flopman's just outdone him. Coming through the left-hander at turn number 7, now down the straight. Flopman nearly forced him toward the wall. Everyone else ahead, Ryan, Leonardo, Renz, Thomas and Tom, are currently at top 4. Also in 5th, and Rydal getting the move done and move for Patrick down the straight, but still on board Liam Van Unen, trying to get the move on the back of Cameron Zaz, looking for the overtake around the outside of turn number 11, tries to go very deep indeed. He goes far too deep into the corner. That's Cameron Zaz's move all day of the week, and Flopman goes around the outside of Ian Van Unen. Ian being very impatient and trying to cause a bit of a snatch on effect, and he's out of the race because he hits the wall coming to the left-hander turn 14. That's going to area VSC. That is unfortunate for Ian Van Unen, too close into the wall. Miami claims its first victim.
Yes, it has indeed. Ian Van Unen being the first one. Surprised that isn't a safety car, if I'm perfectly honest, but the virtual safety car coming out delays things just a little bit. I wonder if we will get a safety car at some point. It is probably one of those things you might expect around a circuit like Miami, as Tom and Rens Thomason, there's a change of position there, and does look like Rens Thomason has damage to his front wing on that left-hand side, so contact between two drivers under a virtual safety car. That's unlikely, as was Zorzo, who came into the pit lane, changing his front wing. So it looks like Zorzo and maybe Rens Thomason collided under that virtual safety car, and as a result, both of their chances of getting a good result out of this race well and truly damaged quite severely.
I think it was Tom and Rens Thomason, actually, who actually made the contact. Rens has definitely got that left side hand plate. Tom made contact with him coming through the midpoint of turn 18. So really, really, not shameful driving, but they've got to beware under the VSC. That's what I'm going to try and say between Tom and Rens. Luca Patana getting the move done on Rodadal as well, further down the field. It's also, you mentioned, into the pit lane. I don't think he's had a front wing change. I think he's actually fine. He just came in for a different set of tyres. Speaking of the tyres, by the way, everyone pretty much on a set of hard compounded tyres, probably to the midpoint of the race. Whether or not we get rain at that point remains to be seen. Medium compounded tyres for Rens. Apart from that, everyone further down the field, Zorza, Gavarnov, Dirk and Danny Van Leuten, been in the pit lane, so they've already changed from a set of hards onto a set of mediums and vice versa. As now Rodadal set to sight on Luca Rapazza once again. 4P5 running up the hill in towards turn 17. Job done for him. George Ansel making good ground as well. Matteo getting involved on the act as well to the inside of Ryan in towards turn number 17. Tries to get the job done. Does get the job done. Matteo, the Italian stallion, the defending champion from last season in PSF1 through into 11th.
Yeah, good race so far on our hands. I'm noticing Rens Thomason, who's in 4th place, he's on a softer compounded tyre. So despite the damage he's got to his car, he's missing an end plate. You think that might hamper him. Well, he is still running quite well in this race and quite close to the back of Tom. But you notice they'll lose a lot of time through the tight and twisty technical sections, which is where his tyres would give him the real advantage. So maybe the advantage that he might have gained from fresh tyres being neutralised slightly, running quite nicely at the pace of the car in front, which of course is Tom, who is in 3rd place. And well, there's a change for the lead as Rayan gets himself nicely ahead of Leonardo here, but both of these drivers very close to each other, so going to be a close contest between these two and maybe Tom, who's in behind. So it's going to be interesting to see where these three pan out come the checker flag, but they've got plenty of time until that's a reality. So going to be interesting for these three, but all that needs to happen, one incident and everything's turned on its head.
Yeah, one instant, everything has changed on its head. Indeed, Cameron Dowds on the back of Alfred Gully looking quite close, run up the hill into turn 17. Is he going to go for the move? The Flying Scotsman to the inside line, trying to get the job done on Alfred Gully. His fellow Shazoo teammate, Easy As You Like, the former NLR man, gets back through down into 8th. Cameron Dowds through into 7th. Really nicely done by the man of Team Shazoo, by the man known as the Flying Scotsman to you and me here in PSF1. Alpha Gully and Flopman riding behind on him as well. Teo definitely not liking Miami early on there in P10. He's won around here before, as has Rens Thomason. Only 2 on the grid that have won around here previously in PSGL history. So they are really finding themselves out in that terms of their feet. And Rens definitely now that damage bar and is beginning to tell, because he's lost 1.4 seconds on the back of Tom. Tom, of course, looking for the historic treble of getting all 3 American race wins. Coulter, of course, season 30. Las Vegas last season, and now looking maybe on the cusp of Miami this season as Leonardo tries to make the move for the race lead, but in turn doesn't make the move and remains in behind as Luca Rapazza back into pit.
Yeah, Luca Rapazza doing a steady job as things stand. He's got just under a couple attempts to find if he wants to get the DRS off the back of Rens Thomason, who obviously was only a few moments ago quite close to the back of Tom. The grid's still relatively close, but a few gaps opening up. DRS trains have been very common when you're going against AI, and it seems they seem to be just as common in league racing at the moment. But Rayan and Leonardo continuing to change and fight for that P1 position. Just got to hope that does not boil over, because it is very easy for it to, as Alpha Gully and Flopman do battle.
Flopman round.
And Flopman, as you say.
And Flopman's... Go on.
I was literally just about to pick up on what you were saying. Flopman there going round in that incident, and Rens Thomason comes to the pit lane. The damage is a bit too much for him, unfortunately, but panning out to what could be a good race, but looks like it might be a bit of a slow boiler as things stand.
Yeah, definitely. So Flopman, I think, dived it too much to the inside line of Alpha Gully, by the way, getting towards turn 17. Caught on board with that quite late, but it was an instant between them both. They did collide, and Flopman down in P13. Rens Thomason, I have a feeling he hit the wall somewhere else out on track, because there's not any way where he was 3 tenths behind one lap, he was then 2 seconds behind the next lap. So Rens Thomason, I think, hit the wall somewhere else out on track, and he picked up more damage on that left side end plate, which is why he's been forced to come in the pit lane, which is why he's on that Telehold compound tyre as well. I think Rodadal's moved into fourth as well on Luke Rapata, just seeing that move transpire. But Leonardo leading the way, Rayan in second, Tom in third. It is all a bit of a slow burner, but the best racers always have a slow burn at the start. Bit like the England match, I'll be honest, last night, but there we are. Leonardo taking the lead from Rayan in second. Rayan is closing in on the back of him, but he's not going to get the move done, and everyone on the top three remain as they are. Luke Rapata looking on the back of Radadar. I think we're going to see, though, a bit of a battle further down the field. Damien Ryan, Max von der Geest, and Flopman all going to be involved in the battle, potentially down towards turn 1.
Absolutely, it is looking likely that we're going to get a real scrap between these top three, but also those further down as this, wow, look at this very fierce action towards turn 1. Really a lot of moving on that straight, so you've got to be careful you don't move too much, otherwise you will get definitely a big telling off from the race stewards, but nothing too bad at this moment in time. But Flopman was very confused in the Discord and was saying, P15, why was I in P15? How did that happen? So these drivers, as I was saying, it's getting to a point where they're going to look at their pace and wonder, why am I not where I should be? It is confusing, but Flopman, one of those drivers that is a little bit bemused at the minute, a bit confused about his lack of pace, but he's going to be doing everything he can to try and get into a good place in this race. He's currently 12th position, so he's got a little bit of time to make up and a little few places to make up to really get some good points out of this one, but anything is possible.
Anything is possible. Leonardo nearly spun, by the way, coming across the chicane, turns 15 and 16. Really, really lucky, actually, to try and get that car bottomed out on the curb. He is definitely losing a lot of ERS. He's got 54% of ERS right now. Rayan's on 100. Tom's on 100. So, at the minute, Leonardo, he needs a battery save the life out of that car right now, because he's under pressure from Rayan, under pressure from Tom in the top three. George Morgan, by the way, joining us in the comment section there. Hope you're doing well, my friend. It'd be not too distant future for him in PC F1 alongside the absolute fantastic co-commentator that I have alongside him for this season. Leonardo leading the way here in PSF1 from Rayan in second, Tom there in third. 3.4 seconds. The gap is increasing between the top three and Luca Rapata. Luca not out of his depth by any means, but the top three are just in a DRS train. Luca and Rydal have been fighting until the cats come home, and they are really struggling and actually benefiting Cameron Dowd, and I have banged on about him every single stream in terms of his ERS usage, and I'm going to go on about it again because he's got 84% of ERS running down the straight. He is a bit behind these two. They again now fight Radadal and Luke Rapata, but Cameron Dowd is saving enough battery up. Luca's got 41%, Radadal's on 30. Cameron Dowd can have these for chips down the straights if he wants to. He can just turn on the afterburners and then he's away and gone. But Cameron Dowd's just trying to eye up the move. I think personally, if I was in his shoes, I'd be making the move sooner rather than later, because Luke Rapata and Radadal have been fighting very aggressively, and therefore Cameron Dowd is playing completely into his perspective.
Absolutely, and just an update there on the weather on the right hand side of your screen, that graphic showing you what it is at the moment and what it's going to be. I'm noticing there's a very 84% chance of rain on the horizon in about possibly 25 to 30 minutes time. Well, the forecast not quite indicating the chance of rain, but showing you that track temperature and what it's looking at the moment. 31 degrees currently, the air temperature 46, that track temperature, no issue of tyre temp for the time being. But if the rain does come, it's only going to be a short spell, so it is going to be very interesting to see. But these drivers, they might not be thinking about the rain right now. They're just trying to get on with the action on hand, which is this race. And exactly what they're going to be trying to do is get these hard tyres to whatever comes first, the rain or the need to pit.
I think, honestly, the rain is probably going to come later than the need to pit, and that's going to put them maybe in a real tricky position. Certainly those in the set of hards can get a one-stop out of this race. They can go potentially right until the rain does come. If not, though, it's going to be really interesting because I think, by your calculations there, if the rain's coming in about 25 minutes' time, it's going to hit pretty much right at the end of the race. So it's going to be nip and tuck whether or not it rains right towards the end or not. If it does come, it'll probably be within the last 5 laps of the race. Leonardo looking for the move on the back of Rayen, by the way, for the race lead. Absolutely sides past him down the straight in towards turn number 17. Job done for him. Luke Rapazza as well as Rotterdam fighting Cameron Dowd. Now, maybe has just heard me from the live stream because Cameron Dowd makes that move on Rotterdam. They've been fighting very aggressively, them two. Cameron Dowd now picks one off. He's going to save that battery up for another goal at Luke Rapazza. But honestly, Luke Rapazza against Cameron Dowd, only one man that I'm going to have in this battle. That's the man in 5th position. Luke Rapazza there in 4th. Really actually sticking well to the task. 2.7 seconds. Gap is closing down slightly. But I think it's because everyone in the top 3 is being cautious, saving that battery. But Cameron Dowd up into 5th position. Looking nice, looking tidy. Watch out for him in the second half of this race, Byron, because he's just going to come alive.
Absolutely, but keep an eye on Rayan because he's about to come alive as we head down the second DRS straight on this lap, and it is no contest for Rayan, getting the overtake done nice and easily as he heads down the straight, and as they get to the braking zone, comfortably ahead of Leonardo up into P1 as things stand, and Tom very close up the back of these two as well, so could be a close contest between everyone at the moment who is running on this track because, well, this top 3 separated by a mere few meters, but this battle for 4th and below is another battle to really keep an eye on too because, well, that is the real juicy points positions that are all scrapping out at the minute, and maybe they're not being too aggressive at the moment, but they're certainly trying to do everything in their power to have a real close contest as Cameron Dowd ahead of Luca Rapazza. You said he got to keep that battery high to make that attack work. Has he managed to do that? Well, as he leaves and exits round turn number 17, 18 and 19 now and finishes that lap. Not too bad at all. Will he hold the position as he heads towards turn number 1? He does. So nicely held from Cameron Dowd. He's up into 4th and will now try and set his sights on the top 3. Whether he can chase or not, or he has to do more looking behind, is yet another question for Cameron Dowd.
And speaking of Cameron Dowd, Ron's just put there in the YouTube comments, apparently he's having neck cramps right now, which is not at all great. It might be because he's pulling that way to the car right around on his track. He's 2.1 seconds behind, catching Tom, catching Leonardo, catching Rayen. That's why he's got the neck cramps for, because he's pulling his weight and he's right on the back of the top 3. And Tom will definitely help him out when it comes to a potential team game. We've got TF10, ET8, Shazoo, all toward the top 3. Of course, it's not a team event, so I don't know what I'm going on about. But Cameron Dowd and Tom, they'll be in the same party. They can work together to their advantage. Leonardo and Rayen will not be, so that is where an advantage could come into play for Cameron Dowd and Tom in terms of their engineering standpoint from certainly Ron's perspective there in the comment section. But Luca on the back of Cameron. Cameron there in 4th, Luca there in 5th. Luca has managed to save up his battery, and again, it's going to be no contest, I think, down the straight. Leonardo going for the move for the race lead as well, but Luca Rapazza through and he's into 4th. Cameron Dowd's there in 5th. It's so easy to break apart in this session. You've got to feel sorry for, though, Byron. The man in P8, Matteo, is in absolute no man's land right now. He's 3.4 seconds off the back of Alpha Gully, 4.4 seconds ahead of a train of cars, including Ryan Flop and a Max von der Geest. Matteo's in a bit of no man's land. Is that going to really work to his favour in the second half of the race? As Damien and Max von der Geest are side by side down in towards turn number 1. I think Max von der Geest is just going to hold position. He does indeed. He's back through and he's into 11th position. But Matteo there in 8th position in no man's land. He's going to be really struggling, I think, to even find anywhere into this race.
Yeah, it's going to be really difficult when you've not got someone ahead to really chase after. If you're not close to someone, it's a bit difficult. And if you've not got someone behind almost pushing you along, it's a bit difficult there too. So a bit of a no man's land, but all it takes is one safety car and that's it. You know, you're back in this race and, you know, just because you're only running P8 doesn't mean you're having a bad race at all. You know, one thing happens, a different strategy, everything changes. Flopman gets his way up into P9. That's a big change for his race because now he'll be trying to chase after that man that we were talking about, Mateo.
Yeah, and Mateo there in P8. Flopman through into 9th. That battle is fighting very aggressively. Leonardo makes a move on Rayen for about the 10th time in this race, going for the race lead once again. Cameron going for Luke Rabata. Just the same old battles beginning to happen, but watch out in behind in this battle for P9. Flopman and Ryan have been fighting a little aggressively, but not as aggressively as what that battle for 4th has. They've been actually managing that ERS quite well. So keep an eye on the gaps between these guys, whether or not Flopman, Ryan decide to use up the ERS and decide to try and close in on Mateo just a little bit at least. Not going to get anywhere near though. The battle, Gio there saying in the gaps to the top 3. Leonardo 0.2 of a second ahead of Rayen. Tom there in 3rd. Cameron Dowds, that gap is coming down between himself and Tom, but it's really staying stagnated around about 1.9 to 2.1 seconds currently, so they're going to be close. Also, Cameron Dowds, I think, has got Tom, Rayen, and Leonardo to try and deal with a little bit later on in this race, as Rayen once again makes about the 15th overtake that he's made on the back of Leonardo. Through he's into the race lead once again. Leonardo in 2nd, Tom there in 3rd, but it's the man in P3 right now I want to take a more in-depth look at, because Tom there in 3rd is absolutely enjoying himself out on track. He is driving as well as I've ever seen him. 100% battery. Leonardo's got 87. Rayen's got 100. So Tom has got an advantage, but he hasn't done anything in this battle. But he might do something now, Byron, because he's going to try and close in on Leonardo and Rayen for the top 2.
Exactly, and indeed he is really trying, but he's been looking very good in this race. He's not necessarily putting too much pressure on now. He's keeping an eye on what's happening towards the end of this, race, thinking about the long game maybe, but very close between the top 3 as they're pretty much separated by a piece of paper at this point, surely. But whilst, we've got this window, it's a good point to mention that this cell of rain is getting closer, and well, if you look at the graphic on the right-hand side of your screen, it's currently sunny, but it is only getting cloudy and possibly rainy from here. So maybe the gamble on those hard tyres might be working, because the rain is only about 5 or 10 minutes away now. So it's coming closer than maybe these drivers were expecting, maybe that we were expecting in the commentary box too. So this race could be opening up a little bit more than we think. Cameron Dowds is eking another couple of attempts out as well of this gap as Leonardo gets his way back up into P1. Tom keeping close to the back of him. Cameron Dowds trying to chase once more as Luca Rapassa tries to apply the pressure to him. But once again, Cameron Dowds will defend nice and sternly and keep that P4 place as he continues to try and set his eyes on the top 3 ahead. And well, that gap now down to 1.8. Can he keep getting that gap lower and lower as this race goes on, though? That's really a question that only he can answer.
Tom.
As Tom, yeah, nicely down the straight.
Here comes Tom on the back of Leonardo. Rayen side by side going in with Leonardo into turn 17. Tom is going to get them both potentially coming the exit of the corner. Gets the power out, but he doesn't want to go for the move. And again, this is really, really cocky and keen from Tom, because he's there in 3rd position. He's got these two literally in the palm of his hands. He could go for the move any time. He is so quick down the straight, and Leonardo and Rayen can't really respond to that. We have got our first pit stop, though, and that is Mateo into the pit lane. Cloud building over the circuit indicates to me we're getting rain in about 5 or 10 minutes as per the team telemetry. The cloud is building over the circuit, but Mateo's gone early. He's gone for set of medium compounded tyres. He's been pushing hell for leather. But look at the gap now and behind, because Tom, Cameron Dowds, 1.2 seconds is the gap between them both. Leonardo's now been separated from Rayen slightly. This top 3 now beginning to open up slightly, and this is perfect opportunity, Byron, for Cameron, Luke Rapazza, Rodadell, and Alpha Gully to create a 7-car train in this battle. And in that battle, you will have 3 ET8 drivers, 3 Shazoo drivers, and a TF10 driver. It's almost as if we've gone PSGL series.
It is exactly, yeah. It's really lovely to see as everything goes, and I mean, just the fact that now this, this race has really opened up now. Now you've got 7 drivers all within a second of each other up to the top. This is exactly what you want to see. Cameron Dowds has done absolute wonders to bring him and everyone behind him into this
Tom,
race.
double overtake.
3 wide into turn 17, and Tom takes
Beautiful.
them both as there was contact between Rayan and Leonardo there, which maybe is a spell of things to come as these drivers are going to start to fight hell for leather, because once the rain hits, if it hits, because it's still not a guarantee, it's looking likely but not certain, if it hits, it is definitely going to make overtaking quite a lot harder as Tom sails his way into the lead. And, well, Rayan and Leonardo going to be looking a little bit silly now, but now Cameron Dowds, he's going to be trying to look like the hero of it all as he will be trying to get himself up into this top 3. And, well, he's definitely got a good chance.
Oh, he's got a definite good chance. Oh, and Rayen nearly loses the car coming out of turn number 7, and now that puts him on the back foot all the way down the straight, losing speed all the time. Leonardo is there once again in Rayen's back pocket, and he's there trying to come for that front pocket, but actually Rayen's on the attack, and Tom down in towards turn number 11, trying to get the move done. Nobody quite going for the move. The cloud is still building over the circuit. Lap 16 out of 29 on PSGL, PSF1. Here's your roll call. Tom out on top from Rayen in second, Leonardo in third, Cameron Dowds fourth, Luke Rapata fifth, Rodadell sixth, Alpha Gully in seventh. Those top 7 are covered by around about 3 seconds right now. Slotman in 8th with Ryan in 9th, Damien in 10th, Max von Spell Belby, George Ansel, and Zolza Matteo, who's on for special and mediums. Renz Thomason down in 16th. Disappointing from him so far. Dirk there in 17th, Bono 18th, and Danny Van Royston rounding off the top 19. I had to try and get that in quick because I thought there was going to be a move down in towards turn 17, but it hasn't happened, which is good.
No, absolutely not. These drivers, though, so close to each other. You see them filter around turn 17. They are just so close to one another. It's so brilliant to see all of these drivers, 7 of them, so close to each other. Flopman, 10 seconds of drift from the top 7, but, you know, that doesn't necessarily mean that something might, you know, can't bring them back into this race. But this top 7, so close and matched on pace as Matteo sets the fastest lap of the race. He's pit, though. He's on fresher tyres than the rest of the gridders. Rayan runs wide there. Yeah, I was, an uncharacteristic mistake there as they headed through turn number 7, and wow, that could prove of detriment to him, but the benefit of DRS has kept him in second place, but does not allow him to make the move there on Tom as they head into the braking zone at turn 10.
Yeah, definitely. So Leonardo again getting really close to the back of Rayen. Rayen got pretty much bottomed out on that outside curve through the left-hander turn number 7. That's why he ran wide, and unfortunately, he got nearly claimed by Leonardo down the straight as a result of it. Cameron Dowds in behind, Luke Rapata in behind as well, but Tom now trying to dice his way out of the slipstream somehow. Leonardo on the back of Rayen, first 3-second penalty, or one of the first. Flopman getting a 3-second penalty. Belby and George Ansel currently on 3 seconds worth of penalties as well further down the field. Everyone, though, in a bit of a tricky scenario. Do they decide to come in the pit lane? Do they decide to go for that medium compound of tyres? Judging by how everyone's staying out and judging by how good these sort of whole compound of tyres are, these will only be around about 40% in terms of the tyre life. So everyone right now is going to be holding on hope for the rain to come. It's exactly what I said earlier on, though, Byron. This rain, your calculation, 25 minutes, is going to be around about now when the rain is going to be forecast to come. But I am convinced that this rain is coming later on. I think this rain is coming within the final 5 laps of the race. And if that's the case, as Cameron Dowds looks for the move on Leonardo, as we get a beautiful helicopter cam on my end going down the straight in towards turn 10, 11, all the way down now, cascading through the track here, down in the Miami International Autodrome. Cameron Dowds and Leonardo are widths apart. Down in towards turn number 11, Cameron Dowds is ahead of Leonardo. Leonardo, though, tries to round Dyson round the outside. He goes far too deep into the corner, and Cameron Dowds remains in P3, Leonardo in 4th. But back to my point quickly about the weather, I'm convinced that the rain is coming a little bit later on. But judging by the cloud cover now, you might be right, my friend.
Oh, absolutely. The forecast is saying rain in the next 5 minutes, allegedly. So these drivers, they were saying, I've not had an experience in the rain. Well, they're going to get it now. They're going to have to really fight the neck in their car. If they've not got the setup in that window, it's going to be a real difficult time. It's currently cloudy, but it is rain, rain, rain from here. And that is exactly the sort of spice that we maybe wanted to be added to this race. You wanted a good race. You're gonna get a good race because when do they pit? It's gonna start off quite light, but it is gonna build up. Not maybe heavy, but it is definitely going to be quite a nice bit of action and spice added into this race. And, well, it could hit at any moment. But Tom, out in front, he was saying he hasn't got any experience driving in the wet. This could be why he's pushing on so hard now to try and build up a gap.
Yep, 78% of ERS on his car. Rayen's got 87, as is Cameron Dowden behind. And currently, this is really benefiting actually the leader rather than everyone else, because Cameron Dowden could easily go for the move on the back of Rayen, could easily unsettle the TF10 man's car. That brings Tom away by around a second. Then Rayen has to use his battery. Cameron Dowden can cover that off, and it could be a stroke of genius from the guys in first and third right now. They will be in the same party. They will be working together. Even though it is F1 World Cars and you don't know who your teammate is, it is going to be Tom and Cameron against the rest of the field potentially. The gap as well between Cameron and Leonardo even is beginning to increase. So we could see a top three beginning to break off between them. Leonardo, Luca Rapazza, Rotterdam, and Alpha Gulli all on the back foot as a result. The rain is still not coming down out on track right now. Coming to the left-hand turn 18 and 19. Tom leading the way. Rayen in second. Cameron Dowden third. But the rain is going to come, and I say the rain is going to come next lap.
Oh, it started now! It started. The rain has just started to hit the circuit, and that is exactly the sort of spice we wanted into this race. Lap 20 of 29, 9 laps to go in this one. The rain has hit. I mean, you couldn't have asked for it to come at a better time because, well, the rain now hits the circuit. Tom has not got any experience in these conditions, but how many of the other drivers have got experience here? Flopman into the pit lane. Surely it's not for intermediates just yet. No, he's come out onto the circuit perfectly fine. Dirk, though, has spun on the straight. He's damaged the left side and the right side of his wing. I have noticed, though, Giovanni into the pit lane. It's a set of intermediates. What? It's not even wet yet. It's raining lightly, sure, but that is surely a strategy blunder, or is it a stroke of genius from Giovanni?
I think it could be a stroke of genius because already the rain is impacting heavily on the circuit, running down the back straight. Rayen is right on the back of Tom for the race lead. You can see the yellow dots already beginning to come on that tarmac surface. Rayen has got to try and make the move on the back of Tom. I think they'll be actually foolish to stay at another lap. I think they've got to come in this lap personally, because if not, DRS is going to be disabled very soon indeed, and all of them now filter into the pit lane. The top 7 are all into the pit lane. DRS is disabled, and Rayen's just nearly gone into the back of Tom into the pit lane as well. Rayen is into the first box. Tom is into pit box further ahead. I fear somebody's getting caught out here because it looks like there's a double stack. There is. I think Alpha Gulli is one that's been double stacked. There's another one. I think it's Luca Rapazza and also Rotterdam, I think, has also been double stacked in all of that. So Tom now leads the way. Everyone's into the pit lane. Rayen in second, Cameron Dowden in third. Put it this way, if you've never driven on the wet on this game, welcome to Miami. Welcome to the baptism of fire.
Yes, absolutely. It is going to be brilliant to see this because Tom is struggling. Look at how close Rayen is up to the back of this Shazoo car in front of him. And wow, as they go down the straight here, the rain, you can really see it from this helicopter shot, is impacting the circuit. They were foolish not to come in for those intermediates. Did Giovanni go onto them a bit too early? Maybe, but if he'd stayed out another lap, it would have been too wet. No doubt about that one, as Flopman and Damien Corelli there still haven't pet as Rayen, yes, as you say, takes the race lead or tries to, but Tom holds it nicely, breaks just a couple of meters later than the car behind him, and well, nicely holds that P1 position. So very nicely done from Tom as things stand, but just because that's how it is now does not mean that's going to be how it stays, because another opportunity here for Rayen to try and take this position, but doesn't look like he's quite close enough to go for the move here. But this straight is so long. He's just about going to be close enough to surely make the overtake. He goes to the right, but Tom holds the inside. Who will come out the better of this as they go round turn 17 and up towards and starting lap number 22? And well, Tom holds it once more, but Rayen is definitely got the better pace here. He is so close to the back of the car in front.
Definitely so. Flopman and Damien, by the way, are on a set of medium compounded tyres further down the field, so I'm not sure if they've just selected the wrong tyres, if they're having a little bit of fun out on track there. They're down in 15th and 16th. They're battling with the likes of George and Zozo further down the field, but they're on that set of mediums. Tom, though, leading the way. Rayen in second. Rayen is looking really, really good in the Inters. He's proven this in the past in PSF2 and PSF3 in the past, and Rayen will definitely be looking to try and use all of that skill, but Tom is a multiple race winner in PSGL. He's an F2 champion in PSGL, a PSF2 champion in season 30 in PSF2, and he'd be looking to try and get the move once and done. As Damien's retired from the pit into the pit lane, Rayen's right on the back of Tom once again. The front two begin to split away from Cameron and Leonardo. Rodadol making good ground as well there in fifth. He's fending off the likes of Alpha Gully and Luke Rapazza in behind. Those three did get impacted, by the way, by double stacks. So all three of them getting that impact. That's why they're 3.4 seconds off the pace of the front four. Tom, though, leading the way. Rayen in second. Cameron Dowds there in third. You've got to feel sorry, though, for the guys fifth, sixth, and seventh. Out of 7 cars, 3 got double stacked. And that is just the luck of the draw when it comes to F1 World Cars. They are going to be absolutely ruining their luck. Rayen, though, is going to be ruining his luck on the back of Tom for the race lead. Go to the inside line. Does the TF10 man? Does he get the car stopped in time? Tom will try and get the up and under. He will get the up and under coming out of the corner. And Tom there flies past him through turn 17, through 18 and 19. Once again, though, down in towards turn 1. Rayen is on the front foot, trying to catch on the back of Tom. But it's Tom that remains ahead. Rayen in second, and the battle in behind, actually firing. Rydell, Alpha Gully, Luke Rapazza, 3 wide down the straight towards turn number 1. Madness trying to get the move done. Rodadell around the outside trying to hang on Luke Rapazza and Alpha Gully. Luke Rapazza to the inside line. Absolutely marvellous racing between the three of them. ETA can fight with Chazoo after all. And Chazoo with Alpha Gully goes around the outside and Rodadell. 4P5 through turn number 5. 4P6 trying to get the move done. Still side by side they go between them both. Wing mirrors apart and Alpha Gully gets ahead. Rodadell's been done like an absolute kipper. Beautiful racing.
Beautiful racing indeed. You don't get anything better than that. What a display of racing between those 3 drivers. That is proof that this is the arguably best and close racing grid on the entirety of the F1 game, because wow, you do not get drivers going 3 wide into turn number 1 and coming out of that unscathed in Miami, but somehow they've managed it. Flopman is having a torrid time. When is he going to come in for the intermediate tyres? Because the track is just not working on those tyres. Having a bit of fun, maybe, but noticing Rayen is still very close to Black Tom.
And I'm noticing as well, I think Rodadell and Alpha Gully have just had an incident coming through the chicane. I just saw the back end of that incident there. And I'm not sure if either of them's got any damage. I'm trying to see on my end. I think they've got away with it. Luke Rapazza there in fifth. Very late on the brakes, so Alpha Gully to the inside line of Rodadell. They do not want to do all of that disreputed battling that they had once again. Are they going to do it again? Maybe so. Rodadell and Alpha Gully, 6th and 7th position. Alpha Gully going for the overtake. Got overtake onto the inside line, in towards turn number 1. Rodadell on the outside line, trying to fend off the attentions. There's a VSC out on track. I have a feeling that might be for TTM Plotman. Rodadell is ahead of Alpha Gully in all of that, but there is a VSC deployed out on track, and it is indeed Plotman. He's got no foot wing.
Yes, indeed. Flopman, for some reason, staying out on these dry compound tyres on a wet track. Interesting, because the rain isn't stopping. I can confirm that. The graphics confirm that. The telemetry confirms that. This rain is not going anywhere in this race. It is here with us until the end of this race. And somehow, a penalty for speeding on that virtual safety car for TF10 Dirk. That is not great, as, Rayen and Alpha Gully, Alpha Gully and Rydell, sorry, continue to battle, and the position change there, as a position change nearly happens towards the top as well.
Yeah, Alpha Gully did make the move, by the way, in Rydell, which I think is where Byron's getting that one from. Tom and Rayen are battling for the race lead. First and second position, Cameron Dowds in third, Leonardo in fourth. At this moment in time, Rayen is looking really good on the back of Tom. Tom is looking quite weak in these conditions. You mentioned it earlier on, Byron, about his lack of understanding in terms of the wet, and now better be proven maybe that once again, because Rayen goes to the outside line in towards turn 17, can't find the move done. Tom, however, goes too deep. He parks the car in the middle of the corner and now brings Cameron Dowds right into play in terms of this battle as well. In terms of the EOS out of the front four, I've got a little bit of time to cover this. Tom is on 12%. running in towards turn 1. So he's got to save those that really, really hard in terms of the ERS. Ryan's got 62, Cameron Dowd's on 94, Leonardo on 72. So I'll come back to my point about ERS management and Cameron Dowd. Cameron Dowd's there in third, has got more ERS out of everyone. He can use that up to his heart's content. And honestly, Byron, now, because the front two are battling, he's looking like the quick driver.
Yes, absolutely. He's looking very good in these conditions at the moment, but Ryan has been looking quite good on these intermediate tires, but he's not quite been able to find himself ahead of Tom. Tom is just an absolute defensive masterclass of a driver. I mean, the way he defends and positions his car is beautiful. He positions his car right in the middle of the circuit, gives them the more difficult route, but now Ryan's going to try once more, tries to go around the outside, but can't get the switch back around there. Beautiful defending from Tom. He knows he's not the faster driver here, but he knows if he defends well, he can keep that car behind, keep the advantage he's got as Ryder Hall and Alpha Gully switch positions once more, and Tom is going to be hoping that he doesn't switch positions with the car behind of Ryan as they head down this straight. Normally that rear wing would open wide, but as you can see, the track is a little bit wet. And, well, the rain has gotten a little bit heavier, but nowhere near heavy enough for the wet weather tyres, as in the wet tyres. Definitely need the intermediates in these conditions, but Ryan struggling a little bit, didn't quite get it as easy in terms of getting past Tom on that occasion, but maybe recharging the battery just a little bit, building that attack up, because getting the overtake on Tom is proving a lot more difficult than Ryan might have first thought.
Yeah, definitely. So, looking through the comment section, by the way, I haven't forgot you about you guys there in the comment section. Marlon's there in the chat, former PSF1 racer, now retired league racer on F1, I can also say as well. He's doing ACC, I believe, for NLR. Hope you are doing well, my friend. Tom out on top from Rayen and second. Cameron Dowd, they're currently in P3. The front four, I think, have got it between themselves. We might not get another VSC or safety car in this race. So everyone now is going to be for themselves. They're going to have to try and fight for themselves. And Rayen is using that overtake mode up to good effect. This is the move for the race lead. Is it too early, though, to make the move? Tom is going to have to try and defend with this very minimal battery to the inside line. Who's the battle of the late breakers to the inside of turn number 11? Tom and Rayen are absolute wing to wing apart, coming through turn 11, now through turn 12, now through 13. This is impossible. Tom to the inside line, absolutely brilliant defending, but this is being set up for Cameron Dowds in behind. In P3, Shazoo are in the same party. Tom and Cameron Dowds are in the same party. They'll be constantly communicating between the three of them. Tom, Cameron are absolutely all over this. Rayen there in second is going to be the meat in the sandwich, but now Tom, with his limited ERS, Cameron Dowd goes for both of them to the inside line, in towards turn 17, trying to get the move done. There's just about a car gap coming through the inside line. Rayen is still there on the outside line. Tom trying to fend off the attentions of Leonardo and behind as well. Rayen going on to the leader of the race, but here comes Cameron Dowd, the Flying Scotsman, takes off to the inside line, in towards turn number 1. Cameron Dowd leads for the first time here in Miami.
What a overtake on, what a battle between these top three. We've seen brilliant three-wide moments, we've seen brilliant side-by-side moments, and this is another one of those brilliant moments in league racing. Cameron Dowd, Rayen and Tom battling side by side, so fierce the action between these top three as well. You cannot put the thinnest piece of paper between these three. They are so closely matched here around Miami. Cameron Dowd and Rayen have looked to have the better pace, but Tom has had the better defense. Now, will he fall away slightly, or will he try and mount an attack back? Will he respond, or will he try and think behind as opposed to in front? Well, they're certainly not. The gap isn't really opening up. This entire top four still so close together. It's going to be really interesting, the end of this race. Only 3 laps left in this one. We're at lap number 27 or 29. The rain is not going, and the drivers are definitely beginning to really acclimatise themselves to these conditions and are definitely having a very fun time out of the action. So fierce.
Here comes Rayen on the back of Cameron Dowd again. Cameron with all of that overtake used up. now is going to be really under pressure from the back of Rayen, and Rayen breezes past him as if he's not even there. He dives to the inside line, pretty much like Kyle Walker last night for England, to the inside line at turn 17, getting the job done through, and he's into the race lead. But Cameron Downs now, 11% of battery. Oh my God, Rayen gets caught on the inside curb, nearly goes for a spin through the final corner at turn 19. Rayen leads the way, Cameron Downs in second, Tom there in third. But the man in P4 we have completely forgot about. Leonardo there, 65% of ERS. Tom on 46, Cameron Downs on 31, Rayen on 26. So now, all of this swinging into Leonardo's favour there in P4. I think he's a bit far back, but Leonardo there now getting that advantage out on track. He is definitely going to be one to watch out for, as will Luca Rapata. Gilles mentioned that in the chat. Luca Rapata has somehow came out of an absolute stumbling block and is now within a second of the front four. Luca Rapata not entirely out of this race win at all. I told you Miami could bring us action, and now we've got the final 1.5 laps to go.
Yeah, absolutely. Miami brings the action right at the end. We said it was going to be a slow burner, and well and truly it has. But, well, if there was any burning going on, it's certainly fizzled out now in these conditions. But, nonetheless, Rayen has been looking mighty out in front at the moment. But the battling between Cameron Downs, Tom, and, well, those top 3 and 4 really has really invited Leonardo, Luca Rapasa into this fight. And that could be great for him. And really help him get himself up the order as we head down the straight once more. And, well, no position changes there, but maybe that wasn't to be expected. But a close moment there as we went through there. And, well, no damage for anyone, but definitely very hairy.
Just about got away with it. Final lap, final 5.412 kilometres of the Miami International Autodrome, about to set sights on these drivers, and Rayen is in control of the race by 0.5 of a second. Cameron Downs, though, at this moment in time, has got 20% more ERS than Rayen. He does not want to use up more than that, because honestly, Rayen is going to come back to him within this race, and Cameron Downs has got to be really, really on the cusp to try and get this. But Rayen, all of a sudden, 6/10 away, 7/10 away. It looks honestly as if Rayen, at this moment in time, is going to win this race. But Cameron Downs has used up now 70% of battery he has got. He is saving this up for this one last attack that he'll have down the back straight in towards turn 17. That is where Cameron Downs will go. Luca Rapata all of a sudden coming like a scolded cat on the back of these front 4. I think it's too little too late from his perspective. Leonardo the same as well. Too little too late. It's going to be between the front 2, but just who is going to come out on top? Rayen coming now through the chicane once again at turns 14 and 15. In toward the left-hand of turn 16. Cameron Downs is right on the back of him. Coming through the left-hand of turn 16. This is now going to be flying Scotsman in overtake mode to the inside line. In towards turn 17, perhaps the car is now absolutely flying on the back of Rayen. It is TF10 against Yazoo. It's Cameron Downs against Rayen. Rayen is going to have to try and defend this to the inside line. Cameron Downs made to work hard for it. Around the outside of turn 17. Tries to get the car turned in. Rayen is half a car length ahead. Cameron Downs, though's got the battery. Cameron Downs is getting to the inside line. Cameron Downs just about to win in Miami. What a race. Cameron Downs takes the race win. Rayen in second. Tom there in third. He came right on the back of Rayen late on. Leonardo in fourth. Luca Rapata in fifth. George Morgan said it in the chat. Last lap's going to be nuts. It completely was. Cameron Downs is a race winner once again in PSF1.
Absolutely sensational stuff between the top 3 as well. What an action. Top 3. About half a tenth separating them as they cross the line. You do not get finer and closer margins than that. What a race. What a battle between that top 3. Such a shame for Tom as well. He had such a defensive masterclass, but only gets third place out of that. And Luca Rapasa, you just got to wonder if there was a couple more laps in this race, what could he have mustered? Because he was really coming off on the back of this fight like a hawk. Well, gutted for him, but such a good race as TF10 Dirk retires from the session. But Cameron Downs, your race winner. Rayen in second, Tom in third. What a race. What a battle. Where do you even start to process that? The rain came so randomly. Everything just was so random all over the place. You couldn't have asked for a better race if you even tried.
I thought Britain was good last week. that was just even better. Top 7 of the podium comes Cameron Dowds. His first race win since last season in PSF1. Absolutely unbelievable. Rayen, I think proving my point, what I was going to say, he forgot to put the battery on in the last straight. And that's what cost him. Cameron Dowds had that battery, 20% he had coming to that final corner. That's what cost him. And again, like Rens Thomason, like Matteo last week, it all came down to the final couple of corners. It all came down to a final lap overtake. And in the end, Cameron Dowds, I think on P12 on the grid, has taken this race win in absolute stunning fashion. And as I say, I thought Britain was good. That was even better. Miami absolutely delivers. Insane racing out on track. You've got to feel sorry for Luke Rapata though. He got absolutely done by Cameron Dowds with that double stack. And in the end, Luke Rapata could have been robbed of that race win, judging by how quick he was on the back.
Absolutely, definitely quite robbed there, but nonetheless, what a race, what action we had. Noticing we don't get the, the actual standing screen. Thanks, game. Very nice of you. And for some reason, my mouse cursor has also vanished, which means I'm just running on limbs here and hoping I'm clicking on the right. So that's what I wanted, because I wanted to talk about this race, because what a race it was. I've now got to try find my mouse cursor again, which is very random. But James, what a race we had. Such a random race for one, but you can't fault the action at all because it was everywhere.
It was everywhere, and I think that just comes down to not only the closeness of the cars, but also the closeness of the drivers that we've got here in PSF1. Every single driver out there, I think there were bits of contact, don't get me wrong, it wasn't the cleanest race in the entirety of PSGL, PSF1 history, but honestly, it was a very, very good race. Considering these guys probably haven't even touched the rain on this game so far, that was absolutely incredible. We saw that 3-wide moment nearly coming through the final couple of corners between the top 3. It was an absolute insane ending. We have got Cameron Dowds and Tom in the waiting room, so whenever you are ready, Boren, I can fetch them in.
Yes, absolutely. Do drag them in. Hopefully, my my mouse cursor's reappeared. How nice of it.
Hey. Right, both of them are in.
Well, well, we've got two very fierce racers, and let's start with the third place man, Shazoo Tom. Well, I mean, what a race it was. From your perspective, obviously the last couple of laps, bit chaotic, but absolute blast. So much fun in those final couple of laps. You had to pull a real defensive masterclass. You mentioned in the Discord you didn't have any practice in the wet. Was your pace as you expected, or do you think you could have delivered a bit more?
No, to be honest, I think it was fine. The pace, I think I picked the battle wrong in the end because I was just defending. And then when I eventually ran out of ERS, I lost 2 places instead of 1, but I soon realised like the slipstream was just so powerful that I should have just chose to lose 1 place instead of waiting and then losing 2. But yeah, the pace was good. It was just about the slipstream and being in the right place, the right time, and I wasn't.
Yeah, I mean,
so yeah, we move.
Yeah, exactly. Disappointing, but nonetheless, still a good result. Healthy haul of points as well. You know, to take 12 points away, you know, when you're not necessarily, the most rehearsed on those track conditions on a brand new game, you know, definitely a solid start to your season. Are you looking towards possibly a championship fight? Do you think that's on for you, or do you think it's a solid result, but, you know, maybe this isn't what I should be expecting week in, week out? I think we've lost him.
Yeah, no, I had a mad lag spike there.
Oh,
What was the question?
No worries. It was just about asking if you feel like this result is representative of your true pace and where you should be every week, or are you not necessarily thinking about the championship at this point?
I'll think about the championship now, but I probably won't next week after I probably qualify in like P19 again, because that seems to happen quite often. But yeah, last week's result sort of already has harmed my chances with the consistency of some guys like Cameron. But I'm not too bothered about winning the championship. I just want to have fun in each race, because if it gets too serious, then that's when I get sort of nervous and bottle the qualies, and yeah, I don't really care about the championship basically.
Fair enough. Well, we'll let you go. Good job on your third place, and well, we're looking forward to seeing you next week when we head to yet another great track. When we do head to. I'm waiting
Austria.
for me. Yeah, when we head to Austria, my brain is blanking. It has been a good while, but we'll let you go, Tom, and we'll bring and talk to our race winner, Cameron Dowds. Take it away, James. What questions have you got for our race winner here tonight?
Oh, Cameron Dowds, you had me on absolute tenterhooks on that final lap of the race, my friend. Absolute congratulations. Your 16th win, I believe, in PSGL history. First, of course, of this season in PSF1. Talk us through it, because honestly, probably one of the maddest transitional races I think we've seen between dries to wets, and that ending was just something else.
Yeah, the qualifying was pretty abysmal. I didn't really have much better pace, so my PB was a 0.0, so I knew going into it that I was quite a way off, especially with the people of. I was 6 tenths off of Luca's PB, so that's really not good. And that's even before we went into the session. But in the race, I knew I'd have a better chance. I always have better race pace usually, and then I just had to pick my way through the field, and then I kind of knew the rain would probably work out into my favour, especially at the start, because I didn't know if we were going to catch the leading three. But luckily, when I got past Luca and the other person that was in the train, I was quite a bit quicker, so that helped. And then in the rain, yeah, I'd actually say that I did not have the best pace in the rain. I think Tom and the other guy was fighting, I forgot his name, they were quicker than me, but because of the battling they were doing and the ERS they were using, I was on 100 going down the straight where I managed to take the lead, and I knew they had less. And then after that, the slipstream was just ridiculous in the rain for some reason, so I knew I'd have a chance going into the final lap. And then, in hindsight, it was probably a bit stupid going for the outside, but I was just scared in case he closed the door at the last minute. And then there was a crash, because that's happened before to me. And then I just got lucky that he didn't outbrake himself, which he could have done. And then, yeah, just good traction, and then won it.
Good traction, and I think Rayen forgot to use his battery up going on the final couple of corners through turn 17 all the way down to 19. And I noticed, I was on board with you actually, you had about 28% I think in terms of ERS to use up going on that final stretch. Was that the difference between you winning and losing that race?
Yeah, probably. If I had been a little bit further back, I probably would have just backed out and tried to get the switch back, and then that could have went quite badly, because Tom would have been on my inside, and then I doubt it would have been the race win. So I'd say, yeah, it probably was a difference.
Yeah, and obviously with Rayen and Tom both fighting, and I've referenced this quite a few times actually in commentary, you and Tom obviously were in the same party, working together. Was a call made, obviously, between you both, where Tom wasn't necessarily as quick, for you to jump ahead, try and see what you can do, and then hand it back to Tom if he was quicker?
No, there wasn't really much working together, to be honest, because at the start of the stint, I really did not think I'd have the pace to be with them. But then I kind of figured out that it was just because they were using quite a lot of batteries. So, but there wasn't really working together. No, I just seen an opportunity and went for it. There wasn't really any working together going on, no.
Yeah, and that obviously that was very much I can't even speak. Very much richly deserved in terms of the racing out on track. Congratulations on your race win, Byron. I'm going to come across to you. Any questions?
Well, there's a question from the YouTube chat. Did you have your Weetabix, Cameron Dowds?
No, I hate Weetabix. Eggs and toast.
Well, that is the question from the YouTube chat answered, but no questions from me. Just congratulations, Cameron Dowds. A great race win, well deserved, thoroughly, and you really gave us a great race and a great ending to that one. So congratulations, take the race win away, and we look forward to seeing you next week in Austria.
Yep, thank you.
Well, I think that definitely concludes all of our interviews, and well, looking forward now instead of backwards, which certainly a few of those drivers might have done a little bit more of than they may have wanted to, but the calendar for the rest of this season, you've got Austria, a break week, Spain, Hungary, Japan, Jeddah, Mexico, Belgium, Monza, Qatar and Brazil to round out the season all the way in September, which seems an age away, but that will come up nice and quickly. But that's pretty much it from us, James. Final thoughts on that race before we say goodbye?
Final thoughts on that race. Tom, by the way, has said I slander him in every interview, apparently. So, yeah, that's news to me. Tom, that I will consider that for your next interview that I will do from my perspective. But anyways, yeah, the race was really good. I think everyone deserved the top three, to be honest. Tom, Cameron, obviously not working together per se, but they definitely saw an advantage in terms of the gaps, in terms of the opportunity to really work as a tandem and really work in unison, really. And I think that's what came down to it at the end. Him obviously having that ERS was definitely a good thing. I've banged on about it probably about 5 times in the stream about how good he was in terms of that ERS. But he is literally the best on console, give or take 1 or 2 drivers, I think, in terms of his ERS management. And that's what won him the race at the end of the day. And of course, not forgetting about the action that is going to be coming up for the rest of the week. Of course, we've got PC back on Thursday. PC F3 and F5 are on 7 p.m. UK time on Thursday. PC F2 and F4 at 8 p.m. UK time, of course, on Thursday as well. Then we're back, of course, on Monday at 8 p.m. UK time alongside F3, F2 and F4 coming before that at 7 p.m. UK time as well. And of course, a plug for our sponsors, GTMA. You can probably see my chair there in the background. At least I've got the light on this week, so you can actually see it. Of course, GTMA is the leading manufacturer of gaming peripherals and the title sponsor, of course, for season 37 of PSGL alongside Sim Racing Centre. And you can use the code PSGL for 5% off on all GTMA products on their website. Same with Sim Racing Centre as well. They have got setups, of course, from 2 times F1 eSports champion Brendan Lee, and of course the other lead provider for all things F1 24 as well. So if you do need a mega setup, if you do need expert engineering or strategy advice, better than the advice that we give on stream, they are the place to go to. PSGL at checkout, 10% off your purchase.
Absolutely, that pretty much does us in for what was a brilliant race at Miami. Thank you all very much for watching. We'll see you next time when we head to Austria. 10 turns, it's fast, it's fun, it's flowing, it's up next. Austria, see you in a week's time when PSF1 returns. But until then, bye-bye.